What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer. Today we got another brand new Overwatch 2 director's take, this time talking about hero balance in both Season 6 and the upcoming Season 7, including new details pertaining to the upcoming Sombra and Roadhog reworks, as well as some of the balance changes we will be seeing with this coming season. So diving into the details, first and foremost, this is not a director's take from Aaron Keller, the Overwatch 2 game director. This one is actually from Alec Dawson, who's the lead hero designer, and he starts off this week's director take by mainly talking about Illari and the impact she had with her introduction in Season 6. There's a lot of very technical details in the first portion of this post, so I'm not going to read it out verbatim, but the sentiment is mainly that Blizzard is satisfied with how Illari ended up feeling in terms of her strength and impact in the game, and that they felt like the balance changes they gave her over the course of the season leading up to her going into competitive have really pushed her into a good position in the roster, and that they're more or less satisfied with where she's currently standing. However, there was one quick thing worth mentioning here right at the end of this section, where they mention that going forward, we'll continue to iterate on Illari's balance whilst making sure she doesn't feel muted. We think there's still a good amount of room there, and we will be making an adjustment to her secondary fire healing in Season 7. So it sounds like there's going to be a little bit of an Illari balance change there, somewhere with her secondary fire, although they don't even really specify whether it's going to be a nerf or a buff. I guess we'll have to wait and see. However, speaking of buffs and upcoming nerfs, next up they go on to talk about some of the other Season 6 balance changes, specifically focusing on the recent mega buff for Zarya. Again, there's a lot of technical detail in this portion, so I won't be reading it verbatim, but the overall sentiment when it comes to Zarya is that they did go a bit too far with buffing her in this season, and that they do intend to draw her power back a little bit with the launch of Season 7. For reference, the buffs Zarya got this season was the reduced cooldown for using her bubble on an ally, plus the increased size of that ally bubble, along with increased health on it, and going forward into Season 7, they're actually going to be pulling back on that buff, specifically by reverting that previous buff they'd given to the size and health of the ally bubble, but still keeping the reduced cooldown. So this does mean in Season 7 we will be seeing a Zarya nerf, drawing back some of that power she had been given with this buff, but not so much so that it's back to the original state. She is going to still be a little stronger than she was initially, with her keeping that reduced cooldown. But here's where we get on to the really exciting stuff, and where I would like to start reading things verbatim. Coming soon. Looking closer at Season 6 and the current metagame, we've seen Bastion, Orisa, and Torbjorn rise in popularity. The standout among them has been Bastion. He's been succeeding at all ranks and is higher than we like at the highest levels of play, around a 55% unmirrored win rate. We're happy with the added reliability to his primary fire and tactical grenade, but we are going to remove his armor repair when transforming into configuration assault. That has made Bastion quite difficult to kill, even when out of position. Note, in the middle of writing this blog, they have decided to hotfix this change, which, for those of you watching this video, you may have noticed this change did actually end up going through yesterday, and as such is a nerf which at this point is already in the game. Moving on though, some other adjustments that we are reverting or pulling back on at the start of Season 7, Orisa's fortified damage reduction, Torbjorn's primary fire recovery time, and May's changes that were introduced in Season 5. On those reverts to May, it's important to recognize when a swath of changes isn't resulting in improved gameplay. Our goal of trying to reintroduce some of her previous mini-game to her primary fire was a good one, but resulted in a hero that was more frustrating to play against, especially from a tank point of view, and wasn't clearly more engaging or effective to play. So basically that whole deep freeze element May got to her kit a couple seasons ago, where after she's been freezing a character for a while, they then take more damage from her icicle, that's going away. It's basically an experimental thing. I guess they were trying to mix up her kit and give it a bit of a different feel and hopefully make it more engaging, but that didn't end up being the case, so they're just gonna pull back on it. I don't know if they're gonna be giving her buffs to help compensate for the removal of this element of her kit, but at the very least, they are gonna be pulling back on her in this regard. Now, moving on to the final portion of this director take, the most interesting portion, in my opinion. Finally, we're looking forward to revealing our plans for our upcoming reworks. Sombra's changes will be coming at the start of Season 7, and here are some of our stated goals heading into her rework. Make Sombra more committal when engaging, increase the active feel throughout her kit, and uphold her current hacker identity and playstyle. Roadhog is also currently undergoing the finishing touches that will release with his rework in Season 7's mid-season patch. Our broad goals for his rework are as follows: increase his ability to protect his team and claim space, maintain his overall identity and playstyle, and move some of his power around so that his effectiveness isn't so tied to his one-shot potential. We'll get into more details for Sombra and Roadhog's reworks in the weeks ahead, including looks at a new ability for each of them. That's all for now, thanks for your continued feedback, and we'll see you in-game. So yes, there you go. We did already know that Sombra was going to be getting a new ability as part of her rework, but now it seems like Roadhog as well is confirmed to be getting some sort of new ability. I, for one, as a tank main, am very eager to see what this Roadhog rework ends up being, since he's been pretty bad for quite a while at this point, ever since they nerfed his one-shot potential, so I'm hoping they do something cool with him, make him fun to play again, make him actually viable, but I suppose we will have to wait and see. And on that note, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments down below. Are you excited to hear Blizzard pulling back on some of the more recently buffed heroes, such as Orisa, Zarya, and even Mei and Torbjorn? Or are you maybe more excited to see what Sombra and Roadhog's reworks end up being coming in Season 7? Either way, be sure to subscribe, hit up that bell icon, follow me on X, and come join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any future Overwatch news, streams, and other content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.